Have you been wondering what the best method for purifying your water is out on the trail? Well, in this video, we will go over 3 different methods you can use to purify your water. Stay tuned, this is part of a video series. You're going to learn some things you'll want to know for your first few hundred miles. Hey, Escape here. Here at Escape in the Office, I bring you along on my adventures and we go over gear, tips, and tricks, all things you'll need to know to make your escape from your office more enjoyable. Let's get into the list. Water is important for all of us, especially out on the trail with the amount of activity we go through. Now, sometimes when we collect some water, it might actually be dirty or have some residue in it. So for these first 2 methods, you are going to find that some of that residue might stick around in the water. All right, so with those methods, those first 2 methods, one thing you can do when you're collecting your water is actually run it through a bandana or some kind of cloth just to try to get some of that residue out. But let's go to number 1, which is boiling water. Boiling water is probably the most time-tested way to clean the water. Now, there's a few caveats to it. You'll want to make sure that you go at least a minute. Unless you're above 6,000 feet, then you want to boil for 3 minutes. Now, a big downside to boiling water is actually that you have to wait for it to cool down. There's no way around that. So you want to cool it down, but when you do go to pour it into your container that you'll carry it in, you'll want to pour slowly. As you boil water, if there's any dirt or residue in it, it will settle down to the bottom. So that way you can leave the last few drops that have all the kind of sediment in it. And the last downside to boiling water is actually that it burns up a lot of your fuel. So some of that fuel you might want to use for cooking, you'll actually have to use to boil the water. But it kills absolutely everything and the water is clean and safe for you to drink. All right, so moving on to number 2, we have another method that will leave a little bit of dirt and sediment in your water, and that is drops and tablets. Now, the benefit to this is that it does completely kill the bacteria and some viruses, not all, but it kills a lot of harmful things that are in the water. Now, one thing you could do is collect your water, put it in your bottle, and then go ahead and add the tablets or the drops, and then you can screw it on and keep hiking. So you don't have to wait as long as you would have had you boiled it. But you still have to wait, which is kind of a downside, is that if you're really thirsty, you still have to wait a minimum of 30 minutes, and at pretty much every product, whether it's a tablet or a dropper, they all say about 30 minutes to kill everything. But if you really want to make sure everything is dead in them, some of them say wait 4 hours, and it'll make sure everything's completely clean. One of the good upsides to them, especially tablets like these Aqua Tabs here, is these things weigh pretty much nothing. Yeah, I wouldn't even notice if they were in the pack compared to the next method, which we'll go over here in a second. But a huge downside to using chemical treatment is that they do actually leave an aftertaste. And most of them come with a neutralizer that helps get rid of that taste. So these tablets are iodine tablets, and it comes with a little extra tablet that kind of reduces the iodine taste in the water. But hey, if you're getting value out of this, hit that like button, and then down in the comment section, let me know, which water purification method do you prefer when you're out on the trail? All right, so moving on to number 3, we have the most popular, I would say, these days, and that is the filters. So there are a couple different styles of filters you can use, and the first one is the squeeze style, which is like the Sawyer Squeeze or the Katahdin Be Free. They are great for individuals, and they can actually be put onto a lot of different things. So for the Sawyer Squeeze, you can actually attach it to a water bottle and just collect your water, screw it back on, and go from there. One thing you're going to want to watch out for is every now and then as you're drinking, you're going to have to release the pressure. But when you tighten back up, don't go too tight because you'll destroy the O-ring that attaches in here. So 2 more good things about these style filters is that you don't actually have to use cloth or put it through some other thing to get rid of the dirt. It'll do that for you. And they filter really fast when you first start using them and after cleaning them back out. After a little bit of use on the trail, they will slow down, but it is the quickest method to get some clean water. A slight downside that isn't really a downside is if you're in an area where there's a lot of pines near the water source and the sap has turned the water yellow, it won't get rid of that color, but it's still safe to drink. So just keep that one in mind when you're out there drinking. It just looks gross, but it doesn't taste bad at all. Okay, so there are a few downsides to using a filter while you're out on the trail, and one of them, which is a big one you need to pay attention to with the temperature, is if it gets below freezing, you need to keep it warm. Because of how these filters are, the little holes or fibers that water goes through is so tiny that water can get through, but bacteria can't. But once it freezes and the ice expands it, it makes it completely worthless. So make sure you sleep with it, and then during the day while you're hiking, keep it in your pocket. Based on the type of water filter you get, they might actually have a differing lifespan. Now these Sawyers say like 100,000 gallons or something like that, which is pretty much a human lifetime. Some of them do need replacements, like the Katahdin Be-Free. And a downside to how some of them are designed, this one the filter is completely enclosed, but there's others like the Katahdin Be-Free where the filter itself is actually exposed and may be prone to damage. So watch out for that when you're buying your filter. So just for a quick little bonus about water purification, there are larger filters that are like pump style and gravity style. So those are a little bit better for groups or in a camping setup like what we have here. They're not really worth mentioning just for the solo backpacker, but if you are out there with a group, then maybe consider, if everybody's on board with just using the same filter, get a higher flow pump or a gravity filter, and one person can carry that. However you look at it, you need to clean the water, but you also need some way to store it first. If you check out this video, we will go over that. Now, if you found this video helpful, please do like, comment, subscribe, hit that little notification bell so YouTube will tell you when I upload the next video. I want to thank you for watching. Escape the office and get outside.